Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. Our last video in this series. If you've made it this far, you're awesome. So this video, we're doing the timing and finishing up putting this thing all back together. So get cracking. First thing we want to do is double check that our timing is correct. So the manual has this left one here. We want it down just a little bit past so they don't line up. Right now they're lined up. We want it just down below it. And then our bottom, because we moved our piston out of the way, we want to make sure that this arrow goes right back where it's supposed to go, top dead center. So that's our first step. So now we have our idler pulley on, torqued to 45 foot-pounds. Our tensioner pulley is on. We took that off so we can get this cover on and off for our water pump. We want that center bolt just to be snug, so we're gonna have to spin that, so we don't want it tight. So just snug, just like finger snug. And that's it, we're ready to put our belt on. So you'll notice on our new belt, there are no timing marks anywhere to line up on any marks on your cam. So you just free route it, and the only way to know that our timing is correct is that these marks line up and the one down below lines up. On some vehicles, they have little marks here that line up with a mark on the cam. Not so in this case. So I'm gonna go ahead and route it and then show you what it looks like when I'm all finished. Okay, so this is how I have it so far. We're on the crank, wrapped around the water pump, idler pulley, and then our front cam gear. And it's nice and tight right in the grooves. But there's a lot of slack over here still, but that's okay. We're gonna pull up some of that slack. You can see my timing marks are off, and then we're tight here in this groove. Now I don't have enough slack to get over my tensioner pulley. So what I'm gonna do is take this, put a breaker bar, and turn it counterclockwise. That'll tighten this up, that'll spin this and tighten that up. Our timing marks will line up once again, and that'll put all the slack on this side, and then we'll get it over our tensioner. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, hopefully you can see some of this. Okay, my hands will be in the way for most of this, but maybe as I do it, you'll get the idea. So I'm gonna get my hand in there, right on the belt, so I can put it over the tensioner. Now I'm gonna turn this. Okay, so I'm gonna be off one tooth. Let me go back. I'm gonna redo this one here just by one tooth. So I advanced it one tooth. There we go. Now let's try that again. So I'm gonna go under and try to get that on. All right, I think I got it. Let me show you. So there's our marks lined up. Now it was really hard to get over that tensioner pulley, but I got it from underneath. And just use a lot of muscle and it'll get over. So that's that up here, down below. We are right on that money. Kind of hard to see. Right back here is the little tab, and then right here's the front. So now we want to confirm. So we'll take the crank, we'll turn it 2 full revolutions, and then make sure our timing lines up. If our timing does not line up, if it's off by one tooth, then we want to make that correction. So let's see how we look. All right, so I already did 2 full revolutions. The crank is right where it's supposed to be. And if you look at our cam markings, they don't line up. They're off about one tooth. And it's this right here, this one's off. It needs to be advanced by one tooth. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, change this one, and then do 2 full revolutions again, and then double check one more time. Okay, so I advanced that 1 notch. You can see we are lined up. I already did the 2 crank revolutions, 2 full cranks. Our crank is lined up, and we are lined up. So perfect, I was off just that 1 tooth, and that's why we double check, just to be sure. Now we can tighten up our belt tensioner. Okay, so I just wanted to show you on here because the filming down there is not the best. So you have this little plate here, and it gives you an arrow to turn it counterclockwise. That'll put tension on the belt, and then this little piece here in the back behind it will turn. Just like that, it'll turn on its own, and then you line it up. Looks like it has a little notch with this notch here. So you're just lining up those notches, and then you tighten down that center nut, and that's it. So our belt is on, tightened up. Now we'll go ahead and put our covers on. All right, now we got the infamous bracket. Let's see how we can get this in. So go up a little more. Okay. Ooh, got my finger. Oh, we were so close. It's actually going in a lot easier than it came out. Let me see if I can go up any more. There we go. I did not like going that high on the engine, but I guess that's just how it's designed. Now we can get those bolts in. Before torquing our bracket down all the way, we want to get our power steering pump in place. We can come in through here, Get a light. Okay, got one in. Nice, got a second one in. All right, we'll torque this to spec. Now we'll tighten this down. All right, we'll torque that. I'll throw the torque up on the screen. Well, seeing in here is gonna be quite the challenge, but we're gonna go ahead and put our bracket that connects to our strut tower. Put that on. There we go. Got our 2 nuts. All right, we'll torque this down. We'll lower the engine a little. All right, now I'm just gonna lower it and get it over that center mount just down below. There, nice. Okay, I'm gonna bring it up and get it lined up with that center hole. There we go. There, got it. So it was this one here I was fishing in and getting it lined up. Now we can tighten it down and we'll get that torqued. All right, let's get this last mount on and then we can remove the jack. Where did I put it? Oh, right here. There we go. Perfect. 2 bolts on top, 1 fat bolt. All right, we'll get those torqued down as well. Then we can put this in. There we go. Get our power steering bracket on. We also have our dipstick tube. We can get that fastened in the front here. Next, if you took this off, we want to put it back on, and you can move the engine forward or backwards as needed to get that bolt lined up, threaded in. We'll torque that to spec. Then we have our crank pulley to put on. So we'll slide that over, put our bolt through. It doesn't quite grab enough threads for my liking. We're just gonna tap it on a little. All right. Give us a few more threads, there we go. Now we'll suck it down. All right, we are bottomed out. We wanna torque this to 100 foot-pounds. Then we can throw our belt back on. All right, so I'm gonna skip ahead. All we have left are just some minor hoses, the air box. We got this radiator hose to put on, but just some real minor stuff. One thing that you may struggle figuring out where it goes is this little ground strap goes right here. There's a little spot for a bolt. So that's where that goes. Otherwise, it's just putting all the fine tuning stuff back together. For me, I have to make a run to the junkyard real quick. This broke, this is the fuel hose. It's just really brittle and I leaned over and it snapped. So I'll go to the junkyard, get a new one of those. And then same thing with this vacuum hose. It just snapped, super brittle. So just those 2 things. So I'm gonna make a run and do that. When I get back and after we button all this up, we're gonna bleed it, fill it up with coolant, go through like a burping procedure and fire it up. All right, we got everything buttoned up. Last thing is to bleed the coolant. Right down by the thermostat, let's see if I can get a good shot of it. There's that bleeder valve. We want to crack that bleeder valve and then fill up the coolant until it starts spilling out of that bleeder valve. Then we'll close the bleeder valve, top it off the rest of the way, and then I like to run the vehicle until it warms up and we get heat out of that heater. I'll put the full bleeding procedure from the manual on the screen so you can read through it, take your time. I already filled it up, so let's start it up. All right, moment of truth. Nice. Now we're just looking for any misfires, any runnability or drivability issues, but it sounds great. We'll just let it warm up until we get heat out of the vents. We did it. That was a big job. The hardest part of this whole job was pulling off that timing, getting that timing back on, and that crank pulley is actually quite a booger to get off, so having a good puller is important for that. And you can rent those from the auto parts store if you don't own one. They have a couple different sizes that you can get. Other than that, pulling the head off really wasn't too bad. Once you get all that timing stuff off, getting that head, just a few extra things to take off. So all in all, a couple of days. Another thing I would recommend is if you do not have a machine shop locally and you want to do just this awesome job on it, I would think about purchasing a remanufactured head, something that's already remanufactured. And your local auto parts store can help you with that as well. That way your valve seats are nice and tight, your new head surface is resurfaced and ready for installation. All right, if you have any questions, comment down below. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, see you on the next one.